Certainly, before I was a Christian, it seemed really obvious that just being a spiritual person was a good idea. And it seemed obvious for a couple of reasons. Being a spiritual person, as opposed to being a biblical Christian, didn't constrain you to a particular worldview. It didn't come with a small little box, in my perspective, and it didn't come with a set of rules that would be very, very hard to fulfill. It also seemed that it was something that would create sort of a big table. Everybody could come to the table, and their humanity could be honored. And especially, this is again when, the early 90s, the AIDS was just ravaging my community. I didn't like to think about death, but I was just constantly going to funerals, and this seemed like hope to me. And so, and in addition to that, I should say this, as a professor, I really agreed with Jacques Derrida's notion that all binary oppositions, anything that takes the world, splits it in two, and then makes a hierarchy between those two things, that it's violent. And so I just thought the biblical faith was violent. It certainly felt like it would be violent for somebody like me. I mean, how would I as a lesbian function in a biblical worldview apart from maybe being an example of what not to be? So when I was an unbeliever, I fully embraced pagan spirituality. That bumper sticker that we sometimes see, that coexist bumper sticker. I could imagine a Christian being part of that as long as you just didn't, you just weren't a true believer and didn't bring the Bible as a true book into this conversation. When I was converted into a belief that Jesus was the way, article, adjective, the way, the truth, and the life. And I really struggled with that because on the one hand, I actually believed that, and I was a radically converted person. It didn't. I was experiencing God's victory over my sin. I was experiencing the joy in the Lord. I was developing even an assurance of salvation, but I still wanted to leave a lot of room for my friends to think differently than I did. I still wanted to believe, in some ways, in that coexist bumper sticker, that I could have a kind of inclusive Christian faith, not an exclusive Christian faith. And I realized that what I was doing was, in some ways, a very postmodern thing. And I was still very much a postmodern thinker, so it didn't like come up with warning bells. But this is what it was. It was living a compartmentalized life. On Sunday, I was with my Christian friends, and I was all in. And on Monday, I'm with my professor friends and my lesbian community, and I'm on shaky ground. I just wanted to believe that maybe there were 2 ways or 3 ways or 100 ways. And what started to happen, what the Lord started to do in my heart, was actually reveal to me that my lesbian friends would be better friends to each other if they were Christians too. See, what I was struggling with was this idea that Christianity was good for me, but maybe not good for you. And once I realized that no, Jesus is the way, he is the truth. And the truth does set you free, but it sets you free on Jesus's terms, and I can't make up those terms. And so that's when I started to realize that no, being an unbiblically spiritual person is not kind. It's deceptive. And being a biblical Christian is the only kind place from which we can offer real rescue to the people who are trapped in these lies, to the world.